Welcome to Land Academy. This is the Cash Flow from Land Show. We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth
and sell it on the internet really fast.
I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWitt. We are Jack and Jill, and this is the Jack and Jill Show, too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala and Jill DeWitt.
Hi.
Welcome to our show today. In this episode, Jill and I talk about our Monday deal review. Harvesting over-the-counter tax sale lists. What? Believe it or not, you can walk into a county, a lot of counties, ask them for a back tax list, and sometimes they hand you a list and you pick out some stuff and you buy it for way less than it's really worth. Good show today, Jill. I love this kind of stuff. Let's take a question posted by one of our members on successplant.com, our free online community.
Okay. Luke, and this is really a good one. Luke, one of our members from a while back, asked this question. I would like to spend more time with my kids. I think it's time to offload some of the land business on an employee, leverage their time to use my time more efficiently. What would you ask for in your first land business employee? So he has it's a really good, what's great about this is this is kind of a long list, and I don't want to scare anybody.
No.
Because it's just interesting. The number of different hats that you kind of wear. It's probably just normal when you're starting your own business. You wear a lot of hats and do a lot of different things. So,
let's remember this, that Luke is at a fantastic place. All right, he's printing money, hand over fist, buying and selling property, and he's got a long list of stuff. It's kind of jumbled up probably in his head right now, or he wouldn't have asked this question. So the point to all this, Jill and I are going to really simplify it because we've been through it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Why don't you skim over the list, Jill, and we'll both comment, really quickly as we go down, like whether it's necessary or not.
Exactly. Some of these are actually kind of funny. He's like, notary, be local enough so they can. This is really funny. Local enough that they can stop by for notary stuff all the blank time, because there's when you're buying and selling property so much, you end up signing a lot of things. So that's really good. We always have staff on hand that is a notary. Period.
That's one of our requisites. Everyone becomes a notary when they're involved in
walk in the front door.
Like the first, that's the first thing.
Because it doesn't matter. We always need a notary around. Period. So we want to make sure there's always 3 of them around in case somebody's
by the way, that's one of the reasons that Jill and I are legally able to notarize each other's signature. We have separate companies. Sometimes, we don't have a joint company, so to speak, but our companies own other companies. Mm-hmm. And, so we can anyway.
Mm-hmm. Shuffling paperwork, scanning paperwork, data entry. Then it gets into some of the engineering stuff, which is like, looking up the GPS coordinates, legal descriptions, acreage, things like that on properties, using maps, following up on recording and documents and deeds, all that good, keeping track of inventory, even helping with some price comparisons and, returning phone calls, filling out deeds, all that good stuff. So all really good stuff. And he kind of says, okay, now what am I missing? It's just really good. It's like a list of 20 things. And he wants, what am I missing? I just think this is a great.
Well, first of all, the problems that rich people have, right?
Right.
Anyway, Jill and I started Land Academy, and this is a conversation, or one of the many conversations that we had is this. If everybody responds well to this, and man, have they, we're going to put all the tools in place that they need. We're going to put automated ways to complete a deed, which is deed perfect, automated ways to input an assessor's parcel number and get a whole full-blown posting back out, almost immediately. So all those tools are coming that are going to replace nearly every single one of these tasks for you, Luke, and everybody else, but they're not going to happen overnight. One by one, we're tackling them. Have I been there with that first employee situation. It's hard because you're expecting to be somebody who knows GPS, who's a notary and all this other stuff is probably not going to be that kind of secretarial / administrative assistant personality that you want. So Jill and I have struggled with this since the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's, do you outsource it? Do you keep it in? Here's what the takeaway is. It's not that hard. And we separate our business into three separate distinct parts. Acquisitions, which I kind of run. Engineering, which you can if you find the right person. Let's say right now we're working with a person on Upwork and it's working great. Knows GPS and they can do the maps for you fairly quickly. So acquisitions, engineering, and sales, which Jill's runs. So it takes thinking out of the box, Luke. But I don't think you're any stranger to that. To kind of find out what you're really good at, what you can do fast, and then outsource some of the other stuff in the beginning. I mean, what do you think, Jill? You're really good at this. You are so good. It comes with being a licensed pilot or something. You're so good at in organizing people.
Thanks.
And motivating them.
Well, you know what's interesting? One of the bottom lines that he wrote there, which has always been, there were times that I was kind of running the show, over the years, kind of a little one-man show by myself for different times. And anyway, return the calls. And he says, that's kind of my favorite part because there's money in those calls. That's my favorite part too. So you do the data and all that good stuff. And I like jumping in when they call back. I love that too. So, but no, I think it's great what you just said, Jack. It's a good problem to have. It can be, sometimes it's hard to find it, but like you said, if you divide it up into 3 different roles like that, it makes it a lot easier.
You know what else really, really helps? Is taking the spreadsheets out of your life. We use a relational database that I had custom developed quite some time ago, and everybody kind of goes in there. Even the virtual assistants, they go in, they do their work, they're done with it, and so there's not a lot of communication. It's the same thing over and over again, so it's not emailed back and forth. I'm a huge proponent of no emails. Just if you need something, go into the relational database and see if it's there. If it's not, find out what's going on, and it makes it really, really, really simple. What am I missing, Jill? Did we cover this, do you think?
Mm-hmm, I think so. No, what? Yeah. So, Luke, you need actually 3 people. Just kidding.
You can effectively run an incredibly profitable land or wholesale house operation, in my opinion, with 3 to 4 people.
Yeah, it depends on how you want to do it. Yeah, you know what? Well, I guess my point of this too is I don't want to scare anybody. I want to know that coming into this, don't think it's overwhelming. Don't think, oh my gosh, how am I going to do all that and handle all that? You got this.
Just do one deal.
Yeah, and you can slowly learn. Took him a long time, not a long time, but a while to get to this point. And the number of transactions he did, that's really it. So if you're going to do 1 transaction a month and pace yourself and grow slowly and comfortably and fit it in your life, that's perfect. You can do that and it's not going to be overwhelming for you. He chose to go like gangbusters because he was semi-retired, everyone. He could. So that's his whole, he's coming at it from a different point. So you could do any extreme and then everything in the middle.
That's what this is all about.
So that's what don't be afraid. It's not that crazy. You don't have to think, oh my gosh, is it going to get this big? I got to think about all this stuff. Not if you don't want it to. And we have a lot of people. We have stay-at-home moms with little kids. I'm talking about one in particular. That this is her thing, and when the time is right and she's ready and she wants to devote more time to right now, it sounds like it's a system. She's got it going great. It's perfect for their family, but at some point she's thinking this could take over and be the family business. And when they want to, they'll just make that transition. Right. So,
we have another huge set of members who only want to do 1 or 2 deals a month. Mm-hmm. They get the whole system set up. They utilize the tools that we provide. And their threshold is that if they can make $10,000, they don't even do terms deals. Mm-hmm. They can make $10,000 a month. $10,000, 1 or 2 deals, $10,000 each a month. That's $10,000 or $20,000 a month. Mm-hmm. It's $250,000 a year. Mm-hmm. It really adds up. So there's lots of different ways to slice it. Luke is going at this he's got the way I did. I don't want to leave any money on the table. I want to create like a machine. And I feel you, buddy. And I'm proud of you, actually. And Jill and I are working as fast as we can to put the tools in place to make this really easy. Mm-hmm. Today's topic, Monday Deal Review, where every Monday we talk about the transactions that we're doing. Jill and I recently, aside from opening mail every day and buying and selling property, we decided to bring this back into our lives, mostly so we could report it on Land Academy and talk about it on the show and share it with you. Every county out there, not every county, but lots of counties out there have it what's called an OTC list, or an over-the-counter tax sale lists. And there are quite simply properties that have been taken back by the state or the county because they had back taxes, and then they tried to sell them at an auction, or maybe they tried to sell them in a tax lien way. Every state and county is different, but these are the properties that are at the end of the line. Some states like Arkansas have a whole consolidated statewide system where it all gets put in there, and then you just look it up by county. Makes it real simple. And then there's other states like California that make you do it online, but you have to, no matter what it is, you got to dig. And dig and dig and dig. Texas, every first Tuesday of the month, has a on the courthouse steps auction. If the properties don't sell, they sell them over the counter. This stuff is not readily available on the internet. And it can be incredibly, you can spend your whole career digging out properties and working with counties and things like that. So this is kind of what Jill and I have been doing. We brought it back because we need something else to do. Brought it back to see what can I, if it works, and it's working. It's working great. We bought, 45 properties last 3 weeks since the first of the month. It's about the middle of the month now.
Yeah, I like it because it's an alternative way of finding properties. It's kind of fun because it's a little bit different. And then B, like you said, for some people, if you're not wanting, it's another way to do this business if you really want to, and just buy them that way. And talk about, taking a lot of the guesswork out. When you're picking up these properties from the county, it's like it's starting from day one again. I mean, they go back and wipe out everything. When it's at this point, the county is basically guaranteeing that you might as well have homesteaded this thing. This is how good this is. Any back taxes are gone, wiped out. You're starting fresh. There's no chance. There's no liens or anything that and it's not like there's no buildings on these, but I mean, anything in the past is completely, because it's been, probably, I don't know, 8. What's the normal timeline? Is it like 8 years by the time it gets to this point, Jack? I can't remember.
Every state's different. And no one ever says the word guarantee, Joe, but
Wow.
Your sentiment is right. She's heard me say it so many times. She's communicating it now. And I think it's as good as or better than having title insurance, because there's a lot of notice that has to go on. The people who let this go back for the taxes, they got, 50 letters probably from the county saying, hey, we're going to take this back. We're going to take this back. Then it got posted in the newspaper and on the internet and on it. There's statutes about this. They didn't want it. Their heirs didn't want it. And it's a pretty good sign that it's over. So then now, to carry Jill's point forward, now you have one seller. You're not sending out notaries anywhere. You're just filling a couple of forms out, sending a check in, and now you got a pile of properties. You know how much they are. There's no negotiation.
Right. It's a flat rate. It's nice. The taxes are all starting from zero, scratch. It's like really nice. So, yep. Love it.
Everybody out there's thinking this, Jill. Well,
why don't we just do that?
Jack and Jill, why don't you just tell us where they are? Why don't you just tell us where they are? Tell us who to call. Put the forms on your website, and so we can fill them out. Tell them if it's a good deal or a bad deal. Tell us. What do you say to that, Jill?
You need to do I'm going to say the same thing that we tell all our members, is that there's no one perfect whatever. There's lots out there, and I don't want to have you miss one. Go look. Somebody out there right now is in some interesting county somewhere in the Midwest, and they're going, wow, I just found that list that they're talking about. This is that county's version of it. All right. I see what they want for this property. I see the sale date is coming up on whatever day, however they do it. And I'm going to go, I'm going to go right now and look at some comparables on Land Watch or Land and Farm, and even on Landstay. There's lots, our people are adding properties there. And what's everybody selling these for? Now I know what they're worth. Now I know I want to go buy those. And so that's it. I want to teach you the process, not tell you what to do, teach you how to do it.
Here's a good example. We found out from a member and we had no idea about this, that there is an auction. I'm from Michigan. There's a Michigan auction once or twice a year. The state run, and they have it. It's all online, and it's an amazing value. So, and it's very organized and orchestrated. So, there's all kinds of stuff that we find out about from our members that we would have never. If we just say, hey, go to XYZ County in Washington State, there's a big list there. You're going to make some money. Then nobody learned anything, including us.
And they might have missed something. And we all missed something then. There you go. There might have been more money at the state next door or whatever that we didn't all look at. Seriously.
No, that's right. No, exactly. I mean, it's endless. There are people that have made a career out of finding one little niche. Several people I know in Texas they go around these counties buying properties.
We know it's really funny. This is one of the things that I think makes me feel really good. I know that, especially you, Jack, you do such a good job helping people and coaching and teaching me how to do this, that they've come to you on these deal reviews that you do with some of our members. And I know that you've kind of subtly said, yeah, I don't know if I do this deal, kind of thing. And the next thing you know, they go for it. And they come back and report their earnings, and you're like, wow.
Yeah,
it's like
that just happened. Well said.
I'm like, okay, there you go. So
they said, I'm glad I didn't listen to you. I'm glad I was wrong.
Or at least, sometimes I think it's at least you brought some stuff to my attention, and I'm going to make sure I check all that out as I go forward, kind of thing. So, good job.
Hey, if you have a question or you want to be on the show, call 800-725-8816. It's my favorite time of the show. Jill, inspire us.
Watch for subtle hints for decision help.
Oh.
So what does this mean? Okay, so here's what this means. If you're going along and you're having a lot of obstacles popping up, maybe that's not the right path.
Oh.
However, you're rolling along with whatever you're working on, and well, that just fell into place, and well, they just answered the phone and they said yes, and boy, that just worked. You know what? If it's really, really easy this way, there very well is probably a reason for that. So just keep an eye out, and if you're really hitting your head against something and it's just not working, don't square peg round hole like Jack and I talk about. There's, maybe it's not what you're supposed to be working on. And
every time this comes up this is so important and so valuable. And it's one of the things I actually really like about you and love about you as a person, Jill. I'm from the Midwest, and the whole culture back there is to, I don't care how cold you are or hungry you are, you don't show it and just barrel through it. And then what ends up happening is people I've seen this happen. Family members, they just waste their life in some job that they don't want because they're supposed to grin and bear it. Mm-hmm. And what I love about you is if it's not falling into line, I'm not saying be lazy. I'm just saying if it's not falling into line and you're not having a little bit of fun with it and you're good at it, find something else.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And you've always been a proponent of that. And I think that's a worthy message to send in a big, grand way, which I think we're hoping to do here.
Exactly. You don't want to waste your time on something just because you thought you had to or whatever it was. You started it. That's okay.
Well said.
Thank you.
Join us in another episode where Jack and Jill discuss how to use information that's me
and inspiration that's me
to get just about anything you want.
We use it every day to buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. You know what I didn't mention on this silly show, and I should have? How cheap these properties are. You can buy them for $50.
That's true.
We've bought
California
OTC properties for $10, Jill and I. Really, I mean, it's just insane how cheap you can get them. They just want to get them back on the tax rolls.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
I bet this aftertalk's going to make it into this show.
Well, I've actually had counties too that have almost said thank you for like breathing new life back into these properties and bringing money back in. I call them, they're like, oh, hi, it's you. They're really happy because they see us buying a bunch of things and then they see us selling a bunch of things. They're like, this is great. I mean, you really are helping everybody out. It's a good thing.
Everybody's happy when you call them, Jill.
Thank you.
Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and this was the Cash Flow from Land Show.
We are the experts at acquiring property
of all kinds, not just land,
for half price, just so we can flip it for way more.
And really fast. Thanks for listening. Let's go buy some property.
If you want to get involved or you need more information about our profitable, niche real estate operation, call 480
467 0359. You just might get Jill at the other end of the line.
LandAcademy.com. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.